What is a risk assessment? Risk assessment is the process of identifying hazards in the workplace and formulating control measures against them. A risk assessment involves 1. Identifying hazards and risk factors. 2. Analyzing and evaluating the likelihood of their occurrence. 3. Determining ways to eliminate or control them. And 4. Documenting your findings. What are the 4 key elements of a risk assessment? The Occupational Safety and Health Administration suggests 4 elements you need to consider when planning your risk assessment. First, scope. Are you assessing a product, an organizational process, a workplace area? Second, resources needed. What type of training, tools, and equipment does your team need to effectively carry out a risk assessment? Third, key persons. Have you identified the personnel involved in your risk assessment planning and implementation? This can be the managers, supervisors, workers, vendors, or suppliers. Fourth, laws, regulations, and internal policies. Non-compliance could lead to hefty fines and other offenses that can spell trouble for your operation. By determining these 4 elements, you can create a solid foundation for an effective risk assessment. How to perform a risk assessment in 4 steps. Step 1. Understand and identify the hazards and risks. A hazard is something that has the potential of causing harm to people, property, or the environment, while the risk is the likelihood of a hazard to cause harm or damage under defined circumstances. For example, the hazard could be an excavation hole, and without proper barricades and warning signs, there is a risk that someone would fall in by accident. Step 2. Evaluate the risks. Consider how, where, how much, and how long individuals are typically exposed to a potential hazard. Assign a risk rating to your hazards with the help of a risk assessment matrix. This can help measure risk level based on likelihood of occurrence and the severity of potential injuries. Step 3. Decide on the control measure to implement. The National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health's hierarchy of controls established 5 control measures for each hazard identified. 1. Elimination. Physically removing the hazard. 2. Substitution. Replacing the hazard with safer available alternatives. 3. Engineering controls. Physically isolating people from the hazard if at all possible. 4. Administrative controls. Changing the way people work. 5. PPE. The last line of defense if people cannot be physically removed from a hazardous environment. Step 4. Document your findings. All risk assessments should be formally kept for future review and updates. Using an intuitive inspection software like iAuditor can turn your paper forms into hassle-free digital risk assessments and make record-keeping a lot easier. To empower safety officers to perform risk assessments more efficiently, you can now report and manage risks in just a few clicks. To learn more about how to conduct a risk assessment using iAuditor, click here.